Can you recognize these 3 signs of patient cancellations? If you don't know what they are and you can't recognize them, then your business is in trouble. So let me show you what they are. Cool? Hey, what's going on? Yuri, Elkaim here, founder and CEO of Healthpreneur. And in this video, I want to share with you how to reduce patient cancellations, because there is nothing more annoying than people who book into your calendar and then cancel or don't even show. Now, I'll have some other videos for you on how to reduce no-shows, but let's just talk about cancellations here, because they're a little bit of a different animal, right? Like a no-show is someone who says they're going to be there and they just don't show up. A cancellation is someone who books an appointment and then just cancels it, right? So there's 3 warning signs you have to be aware of, and they're really simple, quite honestly, okay? So if you get these dialed in, the beautiful thing about this is that once you recognize these, you will have fewer cancellations, which means that if you, let's say you have 100 appointments booked in a week and typically 10% of them cancel, let's just say that's 90 booked appointments that are actually showing. If we can reduce those cancellations or identify them and be proactive about them, then we can reduce that 10% even lower, which means that you help more people, you make more money, and you don't waste your time, okay? This is super important. So first and foremost is this depends on how you book people in, but first and foremost is if you have, for instance, let me just share my iPad here. If you have an application, right? A booking form on your page here. So let's do this. And you ask them a couple questions, right? They fill it out. Question number 2, they fill it out. Question number 3, they fill it out. There's gonna be a combination of like multiple choice, yes, no, and then some open-ended questions. The one big warning sign you want to be looking at here is when people are filling out these open-ended forms is that we're looking for very short answers. So if you have an open-ended question and the person is like 1 or 2 words, that's a bit of an issue, right? That's a warning sign, because what this is telling you is that they're not really fully connected to why they're coming in the first place, right? If someone's in pain, as an example, or if they've got a major problem and they articulate that in sentences upon sentences, you know there's a huge amount of emotional charge there, which is what we're looking for. So if you have a booking form application on your website and people fill that in, not just like choose a time and come in, but if you actually have a booking form process, looking for those very short answers is going to be warning sign number 1. Now, if you don't have that, then obviously this is not applicable. Whether or not you have that, the second thing you want to be looking for, and if you don't do this already, you should, is when people do book in with you, whether it's you or someone else in your office, you need to have communication with them. Okay, so text message, email, all that stuff. And we have other videos to show you how to do that. But let's say you have these confirmations going out, like, hey, just got your booking, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 3:00. If they don't respond to your communication, that is a major red flag. Major. Think about this. If you were to send like a friend a text, you would expect them to respond to you, wouldn't you? I mean, especially if it's the right type of text, like not just like an auto text that's from a software. I want to be very clear about that. It's very easy to ignore software. It's a little bit less easy to ignore another human. Okay, so there's ways of doing this that are a lot more effective than others. But let's just say that you as a human or your office manager were to send somebody a message via text or email, introducing yourself, themselves, and reminding them, or just acknowledging their appointments. If they don't even respond to that, then do you really want to work with that person? Like, just think about the human side of things. Like, you send a friend a message and they never respond to you. Is that person really a friend? No. And it's the same thing with patients, right? Like, or clients. If someone's coming in, whether it's their first appointment, and this is especially true for first, like, new patients. Like, if you have patients that have been with you for months or years, this is obviously not as important because you have that trust with them already. But for new people coming in, there's no relationship, right? So there's a little bit of there's not as much of a connection with you and them. So they're thinking to themselves, well, if I don't respond to this person, I can just blow them off. No big deal. So you need to build know, like, and trust with them even before they come in for that first appointment. So if they don't respond to your communication, right, and your communication needs to be sent out in such a way where it prompts a response, not like automatic booking, here's your thing for tomorrow or next week or whenever it is. Ask questions to get them to respond. It's super important. Okay, this is one of the biggest mistakes I see clinic owners or practitioners make, and it could easily be avoided. So if people do not respond to your communication, that is a major, major warning flag. And that's honestly, if you can solve that you're going to get more people showing up left, right, and center. Now, the third thing that's going to help you identify and reduce patient cancellations is not so much on the front end, but this is for existing patients, right? So let me give you an example of how this happens. So I was seeing a naturopath a little while ago, and he was massively overworked. Like, he was the receptionist and the specialist, right? Like, he was doing everything himself. You could just tell he was just sick and tired of it, burnt out, the whole bit. So he was taking a week off and he wasn't going anywhere. Like, I said, like, where do you want for your vacation? He's like, nowhere. I'm just going to stay at home and relax. I was like, okay, good. So when I went to pay for the session at the end of it, here's what he said to me. He said, you don't want to book in your next session now, do you? And I was like, wow, really? No, not anymore. And this is the problem with how most medical professionals or health professionals run their businesses. And this is part of what I call the medical matrix. It's a horrible way of dealing with clients and patients, is basically session by session by session, and it's very transactional. So you get treatments, you go to cash, you pay, and you leave. It's super transactional. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. And then the practitioner is the one who is asking the client or the patient, when would you like to come in next? Here's the thing, is you're the expert. You can't let the patient or client decide. And I know that might be a little bit weird because it is the patient's life after all, but they're coming to you with the problem because they don't know how to solve it. So you asking them when they think they can come in next is ridiculous. You have to tell them when they're coming in next. And the easiest way to avoid this transactional type of conversation where it's like session by session, whenever you want to pop in, is when you enroll new patients or clients, you sell them into an outcome, not a session. So chiropractor, I've seen many chiropractors and I love chiropractic. And same thing, it's like, yeah, like, when do you want to come in next? I'm like, dude, I have this problem. You tell me when I should come in next. How many times do I need to see you to solve this? Right? And it's taking a position of leadership in your business where you lead the patient or client to the outcome that what they want based on what you know. So if you say, okay, you've got this issue, I need to see you a couple times a week, 2-3 times a week for the next 8 weeks. Patient's like, okay. And if they're like, well, I don't know if I can make it in that much, you just have to be honest with them. Do you want to get better? Or do you want to continue having this conversation 2 years from now? You got to tell them how it is, right? You are the leader in this situation. You tell them what to do. And people need to be led. People are desperate to be led, right? Because we have so much choice. We have so many things going on in life. And if you can just tell them, here's what we're going to do together, they will like internally be like, oh my God, this is just so much more relieving. I don't have to think about this. So basically what this means in terms of reducing cancellations or the signs of cancellations, right, is if you're going session by session, that's a sign of patient cancellations, right? Because I'll give you an example from my own life. So I'll see my chiropractor once a week. Probably should have been more, but he didn't tell me to. So I was like, okay, once a week. And then I was like, well, I don't know. I'm doing a lot of self stuff or mobility work, soft tissue work on my own. I'm actually getting better results doing my own stuff than seeing him once a week. And so I shot him an email and I said, hey man, I can't make it in tomorrow, which was true because I had a super busy day and I couldn't break it up. So I gave him, I think it was about a 36-hour notice about the fact that I couldn't make it in. And his response was, well, cool, awesome, no worries, thanks for letting me know, just book in whenever you want. And I'm like, dude, like, how are you supposed to run a business like this? But like, I understand where he's coming from because his business is so busy that it's almost like he doesn't want people to book in. And this is the problem with the whole medical model. It's like there's more pain the more people book in with you. because it means more of your time. Like he's working 13-hour days. So why would he want me to book in with him? Because if he does, that's an extra 30 to 40 minutes out of his day. And so I'll save like the whole, my thoughts on the whole medical paradigm and other videos. But for now, just understand that if you want fewer cancellations, you got to sell people in the treatment plans, right? You got to get them in 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is, to an outcome, not a session. So again, let's just recap these 3 warning signs. Number 1, if they're filling out an application or a booking form and they're leaving very short answers, they're probably not fully invested in this outcome. Number 2, if they don't respond to your communication before that first appointment, especially for new patients, that's a big warning flag. And then 3rd, if you're selling session by session as opposed to a treatment plan, you're toast, okay? So don't make those mistakes. Listen, if you want to get more clients, if you want to grow your practice, we've got a great free training. Click on the link below. I'll show you how to get more clients more predictably. I'll show you how to build your practice virtually or in person without it depending on you for every single thing. If that's something you like so you can make more money, help more people, have a bit more free time in your life, I think you'll really enjoy the training. So click on the link now, watch it. And while you're here, just before you go, remember to subscribe to the channel because I've got hundreds of other videos to help you build an amazing health practice and serve a lot of people in the process without killing yourself along the journey. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon.